Hi there, David Risley here with Blog Marketing Academy. Now, I want to talk to you quickly about how to handle displaying of social media buttons on your blog homepage. By default, a lot of people will use a plugin of some kind to display retweet buttons and Facebook share buttons and things like that, primarily because they don't know how to put those things onto their blog manually. So they'll use some kind of a plugin. And the problem with these plugins is that many of them will by nature repeat themselves all over your homepage, especially if you're displaying full post on your homepage or using the displaying of post content on your homepage. And I want to quickly just show you what the heck's going on here and why that's actually happening. So by default, you have, let's say, a blog post. I'm just going to draw a really funky diagram here. You've got the headline here. Man, I'm a really good artist, huh? And then you got the post. And then there's this little section at the bottom, and there's a thing that you're not going to see it there, but it's called a hook. And it's basically it's part of WordPress. It's built in behind the scenes. And what's happening is that these plugins come in here with their social media buttons, and they will tag onto the hook. And it will basically just put the buttons right there using this hook. Now the problem is when it uses this method, then even when you're using the read more link on your homepage and you've got your latest post like this just displaying on your homepage in chronological order, then what's going to happen is the hook is still displaying there. So the social buttons are going to show here, they're going to show here. It's going to show up every time that hook appears inside this loop. And so this is your home page, and it's got all these buttons right here, and it's got all these buttons right here. It's got all, because it's hooking into this little hook, which is being repeated over and over again on your home page. And the result is to absolute nastiness. There's just way, way, way too many buttons on your home page. So the solution is, we need to, here's the thing. The best solution is to put the social media buttons onto your site manually and not use one of these plugins. So here's what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to show you how to not use this hook and how to put the retweet buttons and the share buttons and all that into your theme manually. Now, if you're using the Genesis framework, this is easier. If you're using another another theme, then it's a little bit less easier, but I'm still going to show you the basics, the bird's eye view on how to get it done. Okay, first of all, if you're using the Genesis framework, I want you to go and download a plugin called Genesis Simple Hooks. It's a really, really cool plugin, totally free. It's designed to work specifically with Genesis. But what it does, it gives you this little interface where you can tap directly into a lot of the hooks that are built into not only WordPress itself, but also Genesis, because Genesis has its own set of hooks. And hopefully you remember from what I just talked about a couple minutes ago about the way a hook works. So Genesis has a hook that's called, if you scroll down a little bit, because I went ahead and did a search for it, it's called Genesis Before Post Content. And then there's one here called Genesis After Post Content. So what you can actually do is enter things into this text area and this text area, and that will actually display above the post content or below the post content. So whatever I enter into that box is basically going to show up here. So if you enter the code manually for your retweet button and your Facebook button, it's going to show up. That's basically how this works. Now, if you go on Google and search for this, you'll find the pages on the social media networks to get the code manually. Here's the one on twitter.com that I went ahead and just searched for, and I'll link to it right below this video. But you can basically create your own buttons here. You select which one you want, enter a few little things here, and then it gives you the code over here, which you just copy and paste. It looks a little cryptic and all that, but if you copy and pasted this into, say, after the post content, and you just paste that in there, then that's exactly where it's going to appear. It's going to appear after the post content. And same thing with Facebook. They've got a series of tools here for various buttons, and one of them obviously is a like button, and you can go ahead and set up get the code for your like button and enter it in the same way. So that's basically how Genesis works, and really, like I said, use the Genesis Simple Hooks plugin. It makes life a hell of a lot easier. You can even run PHP code in here and get a lot more geeky about things, but that's beyond the scope of this particular video. Lastly, I want to show you how to quickly insert stuff underneath a blog post if you have to do it manually in your theme. Obviously, when you go with a framework, things are easier, but if you don't, then you sometimes have to do these things manually. So let me just give you the bird's eye view, because I'm not going to delve into a lot of code in this particular video. So the first thing is, when you go into your theme folder, which again is at WP Content /themes/ and then some name here, which is going to be the name of your particular theme. And you're going to look for a file called single.php. What this file does is controls the look and feel of your actual blog post. So if somebody clicks on the headline or they click on the read more link and they go to read the entire post, whatever that looks like is going to be controlled by this file right here called single.php. Now, I mentioned in another video about the function called the content. So if you look inside this file called single.php, you're going to see somewhere in there this function that's called the content. And basically what that does is it displays the content. You know, it's very aptly named, actually. And so basically what you want to do is insert your social media code right underneath somewhere, right underneath that function. So you got the content, that's going to display the post content, and then underneath that, you put your code. And then it's going to display underneath the content. So here, let me clear this out and show you what this is more likely to look like. So you're going to have all this PHP stuff. You're going to see something like this little question mark. You're going to see a bunch of code. You're going to see the content somewhere in there with a little thing like that, and then there it is. Now, so what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to close it out. And you're going to want to, in order to have HTML in here, which is all that stuff Twitter and Facebook gave you, you're going to want to enter that code in here, and then you would reopen the PHP part of it. So you know, either that or, yeah, that's pretty much the way it's going to have to work. Now I understand this can look nasty, but again, this is why frameworks and stuff like this make our lives a lot easier. And you know, so you don't have to get all totally geeky on this. Now, obviously, if you get into the tech workshop, we would actually delve into actual code and instead of me drawing it out on screen like this, and it will be a lot easier to understand, or you could just copy and paste the darn thing. But here on screen, this is about as deep as I'm going to get. But that's basically what you want to do is if in the actual single.php file, if you just put your code underneath the content function somewhere, it's going to show up underneath the content. That's the way this stuff works. Okay, hopefully we didn't get too geeky there toward the end. And okay, cool. See ya.